Hey guys, different kind of video today. I want to show you how to solve the most complex thing of them all in RuneScape. It's the 5x5 puzzle boxes. And maybe instead of turning on that OS Buddy quote-unquote cheat to solve it for you, maybe you can try to have some fun, solve it by yourself. Instead of using a RuneScape puzzle, I want to show you guys with a numbered puzzle how this thing works. And just try to pay full attention. It's not a trick, it's the actual understanding of what's going on. So let's just solve it as we would do. I know it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just get to that situation. That's 1. Anyone can do this. This is just sliding, getting them into place. But at one point we're going to run into a problem. I'm going to put the 4 here. I want to get the 5 in, but hey, what's this? I can't get this 5 to be in this corner because this piece is over here, and it seems to me that they're like flipped. They're like in the wrong order. I can't get this piece to go over here. Now the reason why this is happening is because these two pieces, you have to see them as if they are connected to one each other. So if I open, I made a little diagram. These two, these 5 and 4, these are connected to each other. Treat them as if they are like a block like this. They're connected. Now the situation is, if I go back here, I have this 4 and this 5, and they are flipped. So they are 5 and 4. Now suppose that for some reason, if I have the situation like this, suppose that this was flipped. So this was a 5 and this was a 4. Would I be able to solve it? And the answer is yes. Because if I move this 5 over here, then this 4 can go up and I'll get 5, 4, right? But that's not the case. These two, the 5 is on the bottom and the 4 is over here. What I want to get is the 5 here and the 4 here. That's one way to go about it. So let's try to do that. Now how we can do that is as followed. First, because we said they are connected, they're like a 2x1, we have to separate them. Then, once they're separated, we're going to try to put them diagonally next to each other. Something like this. Now, I'm going to move this 5 up, and this is where the fun part comes in. Can you see where I'm going? The 4 and the 5 are like this. So instead, actually I should show this situation first. The 4 and the 5 are like this, and we said if I slide it in like this, I could solve it. Now the situation is, well, I should keep this grid first. The situation is like this: 4 and a 5, or 5, 4. If I assume that this block moves as one, if they go like this, I can solve it, right? Like, the problem is that I have this block over here. But let's ignore that. Let's just try to get this 5 to be over here. You see? Like the 5 goes here. So the 5 is now here. But we wanted to get the 4 here so that we can complete this slide. So now let's move the 4 over here. And now if we finish it off, it'll be completed. Now that's a lot of steps for just this tiny part. However, once we understand this sliding in and treating these two as if they are moving as one, we can easily solve the next one. So let's go to the next layer. I'm gonna go take this 6 and then take this 7. The 8 is over here, and then the 9. I'm not efficient at this, by the way. I'm not the fastest guy. Let's look at it. Oh, look, it's the same situation. It's flipped. Now again, what I want to do is, I wish these two were flipped around. Let's put them on top of each other. And let's say what we want. I wish this 9 was over here, this 10 was over here. All right. First things first, we gotta separate them. As long as they're connected, it's not gonna happen. Separated. First things first, let's put them diagonally of each other, next to each other. I can see that this 9 can move in like this, like, you know. So let's do that. We're already in the correct spot, because if I were to draw out this situation, and I'm sorry if I'm rushing by, but you know, it's kind of exciting. Like this. Please don't look at my handwriting. I know it's pretty awful, but 6, 7, 8. And then we have 10 and 9 over here. Yeah. Oh. Suppose that I were to move this 9 up here, and then here, while this one is connected to it, it's gonna end up correctly, because this 9 is gonna end up here, and this 10 is gonna follow along and end up over here. So this works. However, again, if I do this, oh sorry, my goal is to get the 9 over here, so I have to create space here. Gonna get the 9 here. Remember, we have to still connect these two. These have to, they like each other. They want to be next to each other. So let's connect them back to each other like this. And then if we complete that part, it's gonna be filled in. Let's go on to the next one. 11, and then 12, and then 13. This is all the easy part. Let's see, we got 14 and we got 15, yeah? Alright, look at the situation. I'm gonna delete this part. Gonna make a new layer like this, because this one's interesting too. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now again, these two are connected. They like to be next to each other. If this one slides in like this, ends up here, I'm going to have 14 here and 15 here. This is not going to work. It's not going to work. So, if I do it like this, it's going to have 15 here, 14. It's not going to work. So all we have to do, again, is we have to separate them. So let's do that. Let's create a block in between. Or actually, let's just put them diagonally next to each other, right? Now, once we've put these two that were like this was the situation, right? They do not fit. They were like this. Let's put them diagonally next to each other. Not this way, always a layer below it. So over here, diagonally. Now let's see what happens when if I put the 15, because I can put the 15 here and the 14 here. What happens when these two are connected and I insert it like this? 15 is going to end up here, 14 is going to end up here. That works. That works. So I'm going to put the 15 here. These two can now slide in like this. And we complete the picture. That's the quote-unquote important part about understanding these sliding puzzles. Treat them as if they are treat them as if the blocks that you want to fill in, so either that's 9 or 10 over here, or 14 or 15 over here, treat them as if they are moving as a 2x1. However, we're still going to run into some problems, because if we try to apply this method to this row and this layer, then it's still not going to work out. Why is that? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Oh gosh, I can't even, without adjusting this one, I don't have enough space. I wish there was a layer below here, right? The bottom two layer we have to look at differently. If I go back to my diagram here, we have to treat this as if we are inserting blocks like this. I'll show you what's going on. 15, 16 is here, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We have to think as if these two now, 16 and these 21, are connected to each other. So if we somehow create the situation where the 21 is over here, the 16 is over here, and they're connected, we insert them like this. We're gonna have 21 over here, and we're gonna have 21 over here and 16 over here. Then we do the next one. We get a 22 and a 17. We treat them as one. We're gonna slide them in like this. So we're gonna have 22, 17. Then we create a 23, 18 block, and we're gonna slide it in. That's our whole goal here. So we kind of have to think as if it was like flipped 90 degrees, right? Instead of inserting blocks like this or like this, we're inserting them like this. So let's do that. We set 16 and 21. And the 21 had to be in front. The 21 had to be in front of the 16, but these we treat them as if they are connected. So let's create that. Let's first get the 16 and the 21 next to each other. We run into a problem here is that they are flipped, but again, if we put them diagonal, and this is just your brain is now thinking instead of it having a diagonal here, it's just a diagonal here. I can move this one forward. I want to connect them back to each other, but as long as 21 and 16 are next to each other in this order, they could be over here. It doesn't really matter. As long as they're in that order next to each other, if I now insert it, I'm going to have 1621. Now, next one is 1722. I got a bit lucky here. 1722. What's the next one? 1823. Okay, let's look at it. 1820. They're in the wrong order, so let's put them diagonally next to each other. Let's actually use the space in the back here and then put them diagonal. Now, let's move the 23 forward. Let's connect them back to each other. And boom, now we have inserted the 18 and the 23 correctly. What do we do with the final 4? Well, there's not much other to do than to just span it. And that's it. That's pretty much a 5x5 sliding puzzle. Hopefully, you kind of got a feel now for pieces being connected to each other and how you can treat them as if they are one entity and then insert them into the correct spot. See you.